Welcome to the deep dive. We take dense source material and, well, boil it down to the intelligence you actually need. Today, we're diving into BigBear.ai, that ticker BBAI. And honestly, it's a bit of a wild ride lately, so our mission here is to unpack this really volatile situation. You've got a stock that just shot up, what was it, 69% in 9 days?
That's right, 9 straight days,
Yeah.
massively outperforming the S&P.
Right. And this is all happening apparently because of one big naval demonstration. But the really strange part, this surge came right after the company took some serious hits, major contract losses, cutting forecasts.
It's a head scratcher.
We're basically looking at a stock where like the idea of a future win seems to be completely overshadowing the reality of recent pretty significant losses. It's pure AI volatility. So is this surge built on something solid, or is it just, hype from a press release? That's what we need to figure out.
It really shows how fast sentiment can flip, doesn't it? From near panic to total excitement. But let's ground ourselves first. BigBear.ai, what are they? They're an AI company, a pure play, focused on what they call decision intelligence solutions.
Decision intelligence. Okay, so not just crunching numbers.
Exactly. It's about using AI to analyze data and then recommend the best action to take, like right now, instantly. And they've got deep roots in government work, been in these markets since way back in '88.
Wow. Okay.
Primarily defense, think improving operations, autonomous systems, also intelligence, real-time intel, predictive stuff for the agencies, and homeland and border security.
So government and defense is really their bread and butter. But I know they've been trying to branch out,
Yeah.
right, into the commercial side.
They have been, yeah, pushing into areas like manufacturing, supply chain, even travel and trade.
How does that look in practice? Are there actual examples?
Definitely. They use things like digital identity management. That's basically sophisticated facial recognition and biometrics. We've seen real projects, like they worked with Nashville International Airport to speed up U.S. arrivals.
Right.
That shows they can handle passenger flow optimization.
Okay, practical application.
And another one, they launched an AI system for cargo security down in Panama that's taking their border security and logistics know-how and applying it to a huge global trade hub.
Got it. So that's what they do. But how do they do it? How does this decision intelligence work across, say, an airport and a Navy ship? You mentioned some tech terms, AI orchestration, sensor fusion.
Yeah, those are key. AI orchestration, think of it as conducting an orchestra. You have maybe dozens, even hundreds of different specialized AI models running. Orchestration makes sure they all work together seamlessly.
Okay, coordinating the different AIs. And sensor fusion, is that like getting all the different inputs, cameras, radar, whatever, to talk to one central brain?
That's a great way to put it. Sensor fusion pulls data from all those different sensors.
Yeah.
Drones, ship radar, satellites, you name it, and merges it into one clear, reliable picture of what's happening, like right now, often called interoperable edge systems.
One unified view.
Exactly. So if a drone sees one thing and radar sees another, the platform puts it all together for a single tactical view. They also use a lot of modeling and simulation.
Digital twins, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They build a virtual copy of something complex, a battlefield, a supply chain, and then run thousands of what-if scenarios using predictive analytics. See the likely outcome before you actually do anything.
Okay, that definitely sounds like the kind of future tech that gets investors excited. But let's hit pause on the future for a second. Before this big rally, things weren't looking so good, right?
Right.
BBAI had some major issues, particularly with the Army.
Oh, yeah. Before the Navy demo changed the narrative, the story was pretty bleak. There was real financial pain. It came down to lower volumes on some key Army contracts. It wasn't just losing one deal. It was a big drop in ongoing work.
And that showed up clearly in the financials for Q2 2025.
Absolutely. The numbers were frankly disastrous. Revenue dropped 18% year over year, down to $32.5 million.
Ouch.
And importantly, their execution looked weak. Gross margins fell sharply to 25%. That suggests they weren't delivering efficiently. Plus, the adjusted EBITDA loss got worse, widened to $8.5 million. It was definitely a step backward.
With numbers like that, the market's going to demand some answers about the future. That led to them cutting their guidance pretty hard, didn't it?
It forced their hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they lost that visibility into the Army work, they had to slash their 2025 revenue forecast drastically.
How much?
They'd been projecting somewhere between $160 million and $180 million. They cut that down to a new range of $125 million to $140 million.
Wow, that's Almost a 30% cut off the top end. That's a huge signal about lost revenue, right?
A massive signal.
Okay, so Q2 was a mess because of the Army. Then suddenly they're leaning really hard into this Navy demonstration. How much of that is a genuine strategic shift versus, just really good PR after a big failure?
I think it's probably a bit of both, honestly. Management had to react. They couldn't just sit there after those Army numbers. And their CEO, Kevin McAleenan, remember, he just took over in January 2025, former acting DHS secretary, tons of government clout. He came out saying, look, we're determined to compete to win this work again.
So not giving up on the Army work.
Right, but the Navy demo is more than just talk. It's showing, not telling. It feels like they're trying to maybe demonstrate their way back into the DoD's good graces by showing value to a different branch, one with pressing maritime needs. It's almost like strategic lobbying via technology demo.
And that brings us to the really interesting part. Just as everyone's trying to digest those guidance cuts, boom, the stock jumped 69%, all tied to this naval AI demo. What exactly was this event?
The big catalyst was their involvement, along with SMX, in UNITAS 2025.
UNITAS, okay.
Yeah, it's a massive deal. It's the biggest, longest-running multinational maritime exercise the U.S. Navy Fourth Fleet hosts. We're talking like 8,000 people, 26 allied nations, all branches of the U.S. military.
So not some small internal test. This was a global stage.
Absolutely. The scale and the international aspect gave BBAI incredible visibility. This wasn't just pitching. It was performing live in front of potential major customers.
And what was the specific mission they were showcasing?
They were focused on demonstrating AI capabilities for maritime domain awareness. Basically, showing how their AI could take in all sorts of data, sea, air, land, and create a faster, better picture of everything happening in complex maritime zones, improving threat detection, situational awareness, the whole package.
Which is a huge deal for navies globally.
Exactly. The CEO pointed out how AI insights give an edge in these tricky environments, dealing with smuggling, trafficking, all sorts of threats that strain resources. They showed their tech could help solve a really urgent shared problem for all these allied nations.
And timing-wise, there was other positive news too, right? It wasn't just the demo.
Correct. Around the same time, BigBear.ai also won a contract to modernize a critical DoD force management platform.
Okay, so another win.
Yeah, it kind of served as proof that, hey, even with the Army setback fallout, they were still landing other important government work. It helped bolster the narrative.
Okay, let's try to put this all together. We've got this massive rally, almost 70%, driven by this impressive Navy demo showing potential. But it's happening right after truly terrible Q2 results and slashed guidance. What's bridging that gap? Why the sudden euphoria?
Well, beyond the Unitas demo itself being a powerful signal, there are wider factors. Defense AI spending is trending up generally, so any pure play in the space gets some lift.
The whole sector's hot.
Right. And then there's market psychology. You had strong buying from retail investors chasing that momentum. Plus, the Fed cut interest rates, which tends to make speculative growth stocks like BBAI look a bit more attractive,
A 69% jump after cutting guidance by nearly 30%? I mean, that still feels more like momentum trading than fundamental investing. Are there any actual numbers backing up this optimism? Any signs of stability?
There are a few things institutions might point to. Despite the Q2 hit, they did report a solid backlog of service requests, $437 million as of late 2024. That's a decent pipeline if they can convert those contracts effectively.
A big if, given the recent execution issues.
True. And again, the CEO factor is significant. McAleenan's government connections are seen as a major asset for landing the big new contracts they absolutely need to replace that lost Army revenue.
Okay, but what about Wall Street? The analysts who are supposed to be modeling this stuff based on data, not just demos, there seems to be a real disconnect there.
A huge disconnect. As of late September 2025, the analyst consensus was only a moderate buy, and that's based on just 4 analysts covering it.
Moderate buy. Okay. And the price target?
That's the kicker. The average price target was $6. But the stock, after the rally, was trading around $7.60. So the analysts were actually predicting a downside of about 21%.
So the market price basically sprinted way past what the analysts thought was fundamentally justified, purely on the Navy news hype.
Pretty much sums it up, yeah.
And we have to talk about the competition risk here. BBAI is, relatively speaking, a smaller player. They're up against giants, aren't they? Palantir, PLTR comes to mind immediately.
Palantir's the elephant in the room. Absolutely. They're the major threat. BigBear.ai is trying to land new deals, manage that weak 25% gross margin, deal with volatility.
While Palantir is...
Palantir is much larger, profitable, established, and crucially, they're sitting on something like $5.4 billion in cash.
Okay, that's a different league entirely.
It means Palantir can potentially underbid BBAI, invest way more in R&D, just outmuscle them purely on scale and financial firepower. That's why these high-profile demos like Unitas are so critical for BBAI. They have to prove their tech is superior, maybe more adaptable or specialized, because they likely can't win just on price or scale against a competitor with billions in the bank.
So the rally is basically a bet that BBAI's tech edge, showcased in events like Unitas, can overcome its financial disadvantages.
That seems to be the core bet investors are making right now, yes.
So boiling it down, the tension is pretty stark. You have a company using high-profile wins like the Navy demo, plus a well-connected CEO trying desperately to dig out from under the impact of those Army contract issues, and, frankly, poor financial execution recently.
You're definitely trading on the promise of future wins, not the reality of recent performance.
And this huge rally seems to hinge on the idea that demonstrating capability in these critical, visible events like Unitas with all those allies watching is the key. They're betting that showing they can deliver interoperability for allied forces will convince the DoD to open the checkbook again, big time.
It's a high-stakes strategy.
So here's the thought to leave you with. If these AI orchestration platforms really are vital for making allied forces work together smoothly, which Unitas clearly highlighted, how much will the U.S. government prioritize that technical compatibility and proven partnership record going forward? And, crucially, will this Navy success story be enough for BBAI to truly overcome the damage from losing that key Army work? That's the multi-million-dollar question to keep pondering as this defense tech space keeps evolving.